the Grayson Highlands. What a beautiful section of this planet that is. If you haven't been there before, you should probably cancel your Disney vacation or cruise or whatever and check that place out. It's really cool. And there's a lot of day hiking opportunities there too, to where it's not very difficult. You don't have to hike far. There's some parking in the area. It's really unique though. There's a bunch of wild ponies up there that they were introduced to the wild up there to help keep the balds bald, you know, after some cattle farming or something like that. I don't know what it was, but the wild ponies are still there and they're very cool. Gotta tell you though, maybe why I enjoyed it so much is because the day and a half leading up to it was definitely my hardest, worst day and a half on the trail. And I guess to make a long story short, I'd got started pretty late one day, and I ended up getting separated from Stuck Norris because he got out ahead of me, and he was going to wait on me at a shelter. I didn't know that he was going to wait on me at this shelter, and I ended up hiking pretty late. I didn't get into camp until like 1:30 a.m. But as it was getting dark, I was hiking without my headlamp on. You know, I still had a little bit of light, and I walked past the shelter without my headlamp on, the one that he was waiting on me at, and I bet it wasn't 200 yards past the shelter I turned my headlamp on. So all of this would have been avoided if I'd have just turned that headlamp on, but he would have definitely seen me. But anyways, I got to camp. My headlamp died before I got to camp, so I got to where we were supposed to meet up. I didn't, you know, I wasn't afforded the opportunity to look for him because my headlamp was dead. I had to set up my tent by the light on my phone, and you know, I mean, I made it happen, but it was it was not fun to do. But anyways, I had texted him in the morning, let him know, you know, that I had stopped by the road. My headlamp was dead, and I thought he was actually up there somewhere else camping in the area. I just wasn't able to look for him, and somehow the signal got crossed, and he thought that I'd stopped at a road behind him, because he still thought I had never passed that shelter. You know, in his head, he would have seen me, which ordinarily he would have. I just didn't have my headlamp on and it was dark. So he ended up hiking backwards. It was a horrible day for him too. That next morning, you know, when he got my text, he ended up hiking backwards. And then, you know, once he realized what was going on where I was at, you know, he had to hike back north looking to hook up with me. And that day it was just pissing rain all day, and it was a pretty substantial climb to get up to the Grayson Highlands. It's actually the highest point in the state of Virginia. Mount Rogers is right before the shelter that I ended up stopping by and camping right before going into the Grayson Highlands. But anyways, then, you know, I stopped to camp just past the shelter, and I told Stuck Norris I was going to go a couple miles past the shelter, but when I got there, I realized that there was water in the case to my phone. Obviously, I can't have that, so I stopped there, got it dried out. I mean, me, my gear, everything was soaking wet. I ended up just pitching my tent. I was having a horrible day, like I said anyways. He ended up hiking past me. He found him a good spot to camp either way. So we ended up hooking up the following day. When the weather cleared up, got nice and sunny, our stuff started drying out, and you know, it's crazy how the trail works, but we were rewarded with you know, 2.5 days of this. I'm just going to shut up, and again, it's one of those sections that I'm just going to let it speak for itself. So I got to tell you about one of my favorite hostels so far on the trail, and that was St. Luke's Hostel. The place was really cool, and it's kind of a funny story because Stuck Norris and I didn't even plan on stopping in there, but we came to the road crossing where you can get a ride down to the hostel, and we were both pretty low on water. And it was a pretty hot day. We had like 6 or 7 more miles, I want to say, before we got to water. And we had heard about this hostel actually the afternoon before. There's a guy up at the Chestnut Knob shelter that had just got done doing a work for stay there that highly recommended it, mentioned that you'd be able to get a beer there, so that kind of persuaded both of us. And as we were sitting there trying to make up the decision, a white truck pulls up, and guy asks, hey, is anybody wanting to ride down to the hostel? And we just kind of looked at each other, decided right then, yeah, this is pretty opportune. We should probably go down there, if nothing else, to get water and head back up to the trail. But we knew there'd be beer involved, so most likely we were going to stay there. But anyhow, it's a good thing that we did get a ride down there because we really enjoyed the place. Turns out that the guy that gave us a ride in the white truck was Mark. He's the owner of the place. He's a really interesting guy. He's in his early 70s. He's a pretty much a retired doctor. He still works. I think he said like a few days a month or something like that. Really nice guy though. We really enjoyed talking to him, hanging out with him, and his hostel was beautiful. It's this like 110-year-old farmhouse on like 100 and something acres of property in Burke's Garden, Virginia. And you should do a Google image search for like an aerial view of Burke's Garden, Virginia. I'd throw one on the screen, but with my luck I'd end up in some copyright infringement suit. I'm just trying to hike a trail here. I don't want to deal with all that. So look it up. It's very cool, very pretty. It's basically a limestone sinkhole. It's just really cool. It's surrounded by mountains. In fact, Mark had told us that it was the Vanderbilts' first choice for their estate back when they were looking to build an estate. They wanted to buy this entire sinkhole and build there, and somebody wasn't willing to give up their property in there, and so they ended up building the Biltmore estate in Nashville, North Carolina. So that's what Mark told me anyways. But it's pretty interesting stuff. Just a really cool hostel. Everybody there was really cool. I highly recommend stopping in there. That was one of those stops that we knew it was a good idea, since we ended up staying 2 days to wait out some rain, and we did get some rain. And man, what a beautiful view that he has from that back porch, just of the mountains. And I was able to see a double rainbow, also able to see an entire rainbow that I could see one of the ends of. Didn't see a pot of gold or anything like that, but nevertheless it was really cool. If you're coming through there, you definitely need to stop if you're anywhere near Burke's Garden, Virginia. Totally worth checking the place out. Why are you building a fire, Stuck Norris?
Mostly due to the fact that I'm a complete idiot. And I tried to climb up the falls, fell, busted my ass, and ruined my cigarettes. So I'm trying to dry them out. And my socks. Yeah. My socks are pretty wet.
All right, so Woods Hole Hostel. I stayed there, and I had a little bit of a unique experience. I will qualify this by saying that I had pretty high expectations of the place, and in all of my research of the trail, heard nothing but good things about it. And it is a beautiful place, beautiful piece of property. It's run by a couple. They're really into permaculture, you know, sustainable living, which I think is excellent and fascinating. And you know, the place is well on its way. It's got a lot of potential. But it was a little bit weird. It's like there was a tension in the air the whole time I was there. And I've heard this from a lot of other hikers that have stopped there this year. And what's unique about that is I'd pretty much heard nothing but amazing things about this place before, and so had they. So I don't know what's different about this year. I'm not prepared to speculate, but it's one of those things that I can't say I'd recommend stopping in there, and I hate to even say that, but it never felt relaxed. You know, when you go to a hostel, it's to rest up, relax, enjoy yourself, feel welcome, things like that. But myself, Stuck Norris, everybody else that was there, lots of other hikers that have stopped through there this year have had pretty much a universal experience. So I don't know what's up with it, but I did have an overall good experience. But to be completely honest, that's because I got to spend quite a bit of time with who's become one of my favorite people I've met out here, this guy named Hickory. I mean, he actually hiked the trail over the course of 3 different years. I think 97, 98, 99. He's in his early 70s, but talk about a funny guy, man. Somebody that's fun to be around. So he was there. Definitely helped make the experience what it was. But yeah, I just thought it was odd. But it is a pretty neat place. I mean, they do have really good food, and it is a beautiful property. So you know, if it's something you want to check out, have at it. It's just not something I can necessarily recommend. Hey everybody, I'm in Narrows, Virginia, and right now I'm at the MacArthur Inn. Apparently this is the very first hotel in the United States to be named after General Douglas MacArthur, so that's pretty neat. It's a really nice place. It's very well priced. The owner, Alan, actually picked Stuck Norris and I up from the hotel we stayed at last night. Last night we stayed at the Plaza Motel in Parisburg, which is a few miles up the road, but they were all full for tonight, and we had some things to get done, so we decided to come over here, and I'm glad we did. It's a really nice place. The owner, Alan's super nice. Like I said, he picked us up there, and he's actually going to take us back to the trailhead tomorrow. So that's really cool. Pearisburg was neat. There's a lot more in Pearisburg than there is here in Narrows. So most hikers actually opt to go to Pearisburg when they get off the trail here. But honestly, there's everything that you need here in Narrows to resupply and get back on the trail. There's just no Chinese buffet or Mexican restaurant here. There is a place right across the street called the Blue Moon Cafe, I believe. Went in there for a cup of coffee earlier today, and they were really hiker friendly. They've got new owners in there that just took over about a month ago, I believe, and they were really nice. We sat in there for a cup of coffee. They talked to us, and they ended up just bringing over some food, some tater tots and bratwurst, which was amazing. Just on the house for us to try out. So that was really cool of them. So overall, this has been a really friendly town. And I was also pleased to discover that there's a brewery here, and today's a Saturday, so they're going to be open tonight, and I'm going to check that out, and I will let you know how that goes. So I just got back from the brewery. It's called the Right Turn Clyde Brewery here in Narrows, Virginia. They had a lot of good beers. I highly recommend the place if you're through here. It was actually in an old bank, which was cool. You could sit in the vault and have a beer if you would like. Got to give it the vitamin D stamp of approval as far as breweries are concerned.
Come here, son. Hup. Hup. Come here. Come here, Bo. Come here, son. Hup.
Big old hooves.
Oh, you got my shoe in the back. That another shoe in the back.
He's a big old horse.
Hey, thanks. Come here, Bo.
That's a pretty horse.
They like that. Come here, Bob. Come here, Bob. Aren't they pretty?
They are.
Did you know the color?
What's that?
You know the color? It's called gray dapple.
Gray dapple?
That one big silver one, it's 18 years old.
Hey everybody, I just left the Pearisburg, Narrows, Virginia area. Had a really good time while I was there. I ended up spending too much time there and probably too much money, but really enjoyed myself. It was a good time, met a lot of cool people. Stuck Norris had a banking issue to get rectified while we were there, so it hung us up for a couple of days. But like I said, we had a good time, so now we are back in the woods. We're climbing up to Ricefield Shelter. That's where we're gonna camp. And oddly enough, there was a guy hiking southbound. I think he was just day hiking, but he mentioned that he saw some bears up in that area, and that some other people that he ran into saw some bears in that area, so who knows, maybe we'll see some bears. But anyways, my next destination is Narrows, Virginia. Yeah, you heard that right. Can't help myself. We're going back to Narrows. When we get to Highway 42, Alan, the owner of the MacArthur Inn, is going to come pick us up, take us back there to the hotel. The reason being is when Stuck Norris and I were there, we were, having a cold beer on the front porch and listening to some bluegrass. And he asked if we really liked bluegrass or mountain music, and both of us do. So apparently on Thursday nights there, they have a bunch of musicians come in and play bluegrass and mountain music, just local musicians. And he asked if we'd be interested in coming back to check it out. So the timing works out. It's 40-something trail miles. We'll just do it over 3 days. Pretty easy hiking. and we'll be able to go back and check that out. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So I will definitely let you know how that goes. I just wanted to show you this. Yes, this is the trail. The trail has been just like this for, I would say, at least a mile and a half now, ever since leaving the Bailey Gap shelter. It's not very fun walking, and it rained this morning, so all these rocks are wet and slick. So it's not the funnest walk on this ridge. Just got back on trail after leaving the MacArthur Inn in Narrows, Virginia for the second time. As promised, Alan, the owner of the MacArthur Inn, came and picked up Stuck Norris and I just so that we could listen to the bluegrass music that they play there every Thursday night. It was really cool of him to invite us to do that. We really enjoyed ourselves, had a good time. He came and picked us up on Route 42, I believe it was, which was 40-something miles of trail hiking. For us to get there. It took about a half hour to get there, so it was really cool of him to take the time out of his day to come pick us up just so that we could enjoy that, and I'm really glad that we did. So again, I'll say if you plan on hiking the trail in the future, I would definitely consider instead of going into Pearisburg when you're in the area, go into Narrows, Virginia. It's a much smaller, I felt like it was a more hiker friendly town. They really have everything that you need. If you do want to hit up the Chinese buffet or the Mexican restaurant, it's very easy to get a shuttle into Narrows, or I'm sorry, into Pearisburg from Narrows. And Alan, even the owner of the MacArthur, is usually pretty happy to shuttle hikers around. He's a really friendly guy, very interesting man, and you should go meet him. Hey everybody, we're at the Audie Leon Murphy Memorial. This thing is pretty cool. you can see all these like little trinkets and things like that that people have left here in honor of him. He's apparently the most decorated World War II veteran that there is. He's got a pretty impressive list of decorations. Speaking of all these little trinkets that people are leaving, I tried to get Stuck Norris to leave his boots, but he's not going for it. But anyways, in all seriousness, it's very cool, very impressive monument. There's even a flag here. Hey everybody, I am climbing up to Dragon's Tooth. Been quite a climb, but there's been a lot of cool views along the way. Only a couple of tents away from Dragon's Tooth, so I'll show you how that goes. But this is the view that I'm at now. All right, we made it to Dragon's Tooth. This thing's really cool. It's really impressive. Check this out. A lot of good views over there, and Stuck Norris managed to rip a hole in the nipple of his shirt, so that's a good look for you, buddy. Hey everybody, just about made it down the descent from Dragon's Tooth. Man, what a descent. It was pretty steep. Coming off of there, the first 7/10 of a mile or so, it was pretty sheer, the rock face was. There's even a couple sections where they had basically some metal supports drilled into the rock face so that we had something to descend from and for people coming up to climb onto. But definitely an intense descent. I'm pretty whipped. It did mellow out after that though, for the next couple of miles. But anyways, plan to go to Four Pines Hostel tonight. Should be a good time. Heard good things about it, and maybe get some cold beer down at the store. That'd be amazing, and something good to eat, and I'll let you know how it goes. Anyways, life is good.
Like it takes like 4 or 5 people to actually catch one.
Hey everybody, just left Four Pines Hostel. Place was actually really cool. It's a 3-bay garage that has been converted into a hostel. There's like some beds, a bunch of couches, you know, places to sleep. Really neat. Everybody there was really cool. The owner, Joe, is great. You know, he's got a vehicle there if you need to get to the little grocery store. It's like a little gas station, but there's enough resupply in there that you can get up to Daleville, which is a 2-day hike for me. Because today I'm going up to McAfee Knob, which I'm pretty excited about. Really iconic spot on the AT. So I will let you know what it's like when we get there. All right, we just came up on the first Trail Magic in quite some time, which is pretty awesome. In here they have some Cliff Bars. Check this out. It's pretty amazing. And some spring water as well, which is pretty important because today, from the trailhead that we started at when we left Four Pines Hostel, all the way till just after McAfee Knob, which is about 10.5 miles, there is no water. So it's very cool to have this. Thank you so much to whoever did this. That Trail Magic was awesome. Like I said, there has not been much water through this section of trail. I'm actually right now standing next to Catawba Creek, but it runs through, we're pretty low right now in elevation, and up above us it runs through a lot of cow pasture, so there's you definitely need to treat it, and I actually filter my water rather than treat it. You know, I'm not trying to get sick, so we can't drink this water because I only filter, so it was definitely on time to have that Trail Magic. Thanks again. Hey everybody, Stuck Norris and I are here taking advantage of some trailhead information board magic. This thing has a roof on it. Waiting out the rain. We're in the parking lot right before we go up to McAfee Knob, so we'll let you know how it goes. Hey everybody, made it up to McAfee Knob. This place is beautiful. We got here at about 7 o'clock, and believe it or not, we've got the place to ourselves, which definitely was not expected. So anyway, check this out. Hey everybody, last night I ended up staying at the campsite just past McAfee Knob, which was actually really nice. There was a picnic table there, which is extremely uncommon for campsites out here. But it was really cool. Really got to enjoy McAfee Knob last night, or late yesterday afternoon. Like I told you, Stuck Norris and I had it to ourselves, which was very cool. I really was not expecting that. But I definitely recommend that you go check that out if you're in the area. The climb up there was not bad at all. I was actually pleasantly surprised. It was graded really well. However, if you go check out Dragon's Tooth, that's not the case at all. The descent off of Dragon's Tooth is pretty ridiculous. It actually, it got pretty sketchy in a lot of places. I actually was sore the following morning, actually the following 2 days. My quads were from the descent, and it's been a long time since I've gotten sore out here. You know, your body adapts to doing this all day, every day, so it was definitely quite a descent to make my quads sore. However, I do recommend stopping into Four Pines Hostel. It's just at the bottom of the descent off of Dragon's Tooth, and it's a really cool place to just hang out and rest up. Everybody there is really friendly and it had a good vibe. But anyways, today I am heading towards Tinker Cliffs, which I'm pretty excited about. I heard it's beautiful as well, and there's a view back to McAfee Knob from it, so I'll certainly let you know what that's all about. Check this out, Tinker Cliffs. It was a much more challenging climb to get up here than McAfee Knob, but as you can see, I think the view's actually better here. This is insane. This is actually the trail across here. This is pretty awesome. The trail actually walks along these cliffs. Gives you a pretty awesome view, as you can see. That's pretty awesome. Hey everybody, I made it into Daleville, Virginia. It's a pretty nice little town. It's actually not so little compared to a lot of the towns that we've been through here recently, but it definitely has everything you need. There's a good sized Kroger grocery store. Just got done resupplying there. Got in here, I guess at about 4 or 5 o'clock yesterday, and Stuck Norris and I went over to the Three Little Pigs barbecue. I do highly recommend that place, especially if you like the Eastern North Carolina vinegar style barbecue sauce. That stuff's definitely my favorite, and it's not always easy to come by. But they also have, you know, the standard tomato-based sauce too, if that's your thing. But it was a very good barbecue, and we're gonna hike out tomorrow. So the terrain actually looks like it's supposed to be pretty good coming out of here, and we're looking to have some pretty good weather. So I'm actually gonna wrap this video up here in Daleville, and I'll try to get one out here in the next couple of weeks as well. Because like I told you, I do want to start getting these things out a little more frequently. So thanks everybody for watching. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Let me know how you feel about this new format of videos. It sure is a lot easier for me to get these things edited and uploaded in a much more timely fashion. With the exception of what I will say about Daleville, one thing is finding good Wi-Fi is a problem. I'm here at the Howard Johnson right now, which is right off the trail. It's really convenient, but I've spent half of the day today, taking a zero, spent half of the day today looking for decent enough Wi-Fi to get a YouTube video up, and I've been all over town, and it's not a very walking friendly town. It's pretty dangerous actually, because it's not just a small one street town. But anyways, at Three Little Pigs barbecue, place I just mentioned that has good barbecue, they happen to be the only people in town that I know of that have good Wi-Fi. At least good enough to get a YouTube video up. But anyways, with that said, I hope you're enjoying it, and let me know if you have any questions.